Lady LeLe back with a new video. And I know I have not done a video in a while. I think my last video it was what was in my bag. Yeah, that might have been the last video. But I'm trying to get back, trying to start doing some more videos. It's just life's been crazy, but good. And that's kind of the gist of my video today. Wanted to bring you a story time, or what one would say, my testimony. So when I say life's been crazy good, it's been crazy good. I started a new job as of July 6th at a new university, and things like happen like so quickly, and that's what I wanted to share with you all, my journey, my story, and God is great. So this is like my testimony. I know some people might not be in the church, or they might not be a believer, but I just wanted to like share my news and share my journey and share my story, and God has been so good. So I just want to share that. So let me go ahead and get started. Don't know how, just gonna let the Lord lead me on this. So I had been at my job for the past 16 years, and it was it was my first job out of graduate school. So I had literally walked across the stage for grad school and started 2 weeks later. And at that time, when I graduated, only had one job offer on the table, and I was not sure if I was going to take it. I felt like I should have took it just because there was nothing else on the table. And do you walk away from this job offer that you have to go into the unknown of seeing what's next, or don't know when, the next offer was going to come? So with that in mind, I had went to church that week. I was telling people, like, it was exciting to have graduated with my master's, and I felt like I couldn't really enjoy it because I got to make this life decision, though. Do I take this job, or do I trust God? And, so that was kind of like, as much as it was a great time, it was a rough time because I had to make a decision. It wasn't like my other colleagues some of them had found out weeks before, oh, I got this job, this is what I'm doing, this is the next step. Like, I literally, had got a call, like, maybe a day or two before my graduation, and dealing with family coming in. It was crazy. So anyway, long story short, I had went to church, and I remember my pastor, Dr. Joe DeMond Taylor, was saying sometime, God will open up doors that were not originally there. He'll create doors and he'll open them up, and, they may have been closed or not there and not existence, and God has ability to open up doors that might be there. So I woke up that next morning, which was Monday, and I turned the job down, and I said, okay, let me get on this computer and I'm gonna start looking for jobs. So I did this, did that, and I came across the job that I ended up getting, and I applied. I applied that Monday. I applied online, as well as I sent the application in, because that was 2005. Still was doing mail-in packets too. In addition, stuff was getting electronic, but whatever. I was doing it both ways. So I applied that Monday. That Wednesday, I got an email, and it said, we would like to interview you. This is going to be a salary, no negotiations. Are you available to interview Friday? Sure. I'm not working, fresh out of school. So went that Friday, interviewed, and I was like, how you in the interview, you answer questions, but all of a sudden it turned into, conversation. After a while, I was like, well, did I get the job? Because now we're talking about stores and clothes, and so you're like, so did I get the job? Long story short, got that job, started working. So 16 years go by. here we are. So, 16 years is a long time to be at a job, right? When I look at my other colleagues from school, some of them are on like job number 5. It's very few of us that are still at our institutions that we can't, work that fresh out of grad school. It's very few of us left. So a lot of people, they done, went on, worked at other different schools. Some of them left the field completely. Some people went into a totally, different direction career wise. But I was one of the few people who actually were at the school they started from fresh out of grad school. So it was never that I never did look for other jobs or apply for any jobs. I might not have been as adamant about it, but look and see what else was out there. I applied for jobs, been on interviews. I would say that I probably would have picked up the pace more round about 2017. Um, and I think I was really gun ho in the year of 2018, 19, just applying for jobs, ready to move on, catch a new scene. So with that, as I tell people, it wasn't never that I wasn't getting interviews and callbacks. There have been a lot of times where I got called for second rounds, third rounds, did presentations. I just, didn't get the job offer, or something would happen where they was like, okay, we had to cease the search, or we went ahead with somebody from the inside. So it was never a fact that I never did apply for jobs. It was never the fact that I, was not looking to see what else is out there. It was just I wasn't, getting, or, another situation where some people's like, having insiders at a particular job, they will say, well, they really like you, but they wanted to lowball, salary wise, and they knew with you and your expertise and your years, they wasn't going to be able to lowball you. So that was a factor there. So anyway, it was frustrating because I knew I knew they was interested. I garnered some type of spark with schools and stuff, but it was, somehow I couldn't pull the trigger, or they wouldn't pull the trigger to make me an offer. So it was frustrating because, for some interviews, I jumped through a lot of hula hoops and did a lot of things to, get to the interview or make it happen, or, pulling off a presentation in a short amount of time frame, or, going to an interview, then trying to, revise your outfit and head to work, or going to work, working the most of the day and trying to, get dressed and then drive, do different drives, to get to an interview. So, I mean, at one point I was frustrated. At one point, I was like, well, what's wrong with me? Sought advice, got my resume updated, practiced my interviewing skills. And one of my friends was like, that's not it, Lisa. It's not it. It's not that you're not qualified for these jobs. It's not that you're certified. Sometimes it's politics. But something she told me was, she said, your assignment at your current job is not done. She said the assignment God has for you at your current job is not done. And when it is done, God would tell you that it's done and it's time to move on. And, me being a churchgoer, a really faith person, I was like, because God knows it's time to go, blah, blah, blah. And I'm out here praying, I'm doing all this and that, and he ain't, she was like, God will move you when he's ready to move you. So she said that, and I think at that time I was really upset because at the time I had applied for a job that I really, truly wanted. Really, truly, truly wanted. The salary was there, and they had a first round, and then they had a second round in which you had to do a presentation. So I had put my all into it. and prayed and manifested and did all this. And I thought I smoked it. I thought I smoked the interview like a person would smoke some weed. I thought I smoked it, killed it, And then, thinking I'm going above and beyond, I'm sending the follow-up emails, and I did personal handwritten notes to each person that sat at the interview table. So I'm just thinking like, yeah, this is it, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get the job. And I cried and boo-hooed like a baby. And I think shortly after, around about that time, I had friends and associates and colleagues that were stepping into getting new jobs. And I'm like, it's happening for them. It ain't happening for me. And it was just like, so I'm like, okay, God, I know you're around, you in the neighborhood because you're blessing everybody else with a job, but what about me? And, I went, that same friend went back, your assignment is not done. Your assignment at your current job is not done. So I said, okay, God, I'm going to trust you. It's obviously you want me to stay here for whatever reason, but I got to trust that you will lead me somewhere eventually, or you will upgrade me where I'm at. So lo and behold, yes, I moved on. COVID hit. Now I'm going to tell you, I did not apply for not one job in the year of COVID because, of course it was a struggle for people to get jobs, fresh out of school, and people were losing jobs, people were furloughed. And some people were out there still getting blessed with jobs in the pandemic. But yeah, I did not apply for one job. Nope, not one in 2020. So, the school year came back in the fall. So, my plate got real heavy because, my road shift, and let's just say nothing came off the plate. More stuff was being added to my plate, but nothing was coming off. And I was checking, the checks were still looking the same. So I knew it was going to be a challenge year because now we're, still in the midst of the pandemic, still in the midst of, now we're doing this, remote learning. As much as I taught my freshman transition course, now I had to teach it online, and it was like through Zoom. And when I tell you it was a TV episode, it was a TV episode. I know on social media, I was, every day I was like, every week I'd be like, okay, this happened. Next, Lisa's class on Zoom. It was almost like a TV show. So yeah, I pulled it off, and I got through the school year. Students started to come back. We started doing more hybrid stuff, and we were figuring this work from home, doing hybrid. So we were adjusting. A shift happened with my job. A shift happened. And I just felt like I was overwhelmed and overworked and kind of felt somewhat stuck at the moment. Because, like I said, my plate was stacking up, but my checks weren't looking the same. So, with shift in leadership, shift in supervisory personnel, things just changed. My former supervisor left about a year ago, and, a new person was designated. That was a fact, that was different because I was a little disappointed because I had been there much longer at the university than that individual. And the thought of just not being felt like that you were worthy enough or you had enough institutional experience to step up, it was kind of hurtful. So long story short, let me fast forward into a few months ago. So There might be a tale out there that, oh, I've been looking for jobs during the pandemic. It's not true. Never applied for not one, not a job during the pandemic. In fact, I started like looking and applying for jobs maybe April. Mid to late April. And I was just put them out there. I said I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not going to you know, put all my heart in it because my heart been broken because remember I said I done jumped through so many hula hoops with past interviews that I just said I'm just gonna apply, let the chips fall, and they fall fine. So I had applied. My old supervisor shoulder tapped me to, see if you would be interested in working at school she worked at. She shoulder tapped me once. I didn't apply. She shoulder tapped me twice. I applied the second time around, but I didn't even get an interview. Didn't get a call. Didn't get an interview. Didn't get nothing. So I said, okay, I ain't worried about it. It ain't meant to be. Keep going. So I was getting alerts for jobs through higher ed jobs. So I saw a position there and I applied. In addition, on the outside, I saw another job, which the deadline had passed and everything. I'm like, okay, I'll just still apply. So I had actually like got a bite, like, oh, we want to interview you. Could we get you in? And I'm like, sure. And it worked out because the day they wanted to interview me, which was on Zoom, so great. And then it was, I was by chance off because the day prior I had just came back into town. So I had, been off. So interviewed me. Okay, we'll be in contact. We might do a second round. Didn't hear nothing back. That job I told you about that I saw online. So they emailed me and we want to interview you. You can do it by Zoom or in person. It's up to you. So I said, well, I have to do it by Zoom because I think I was the only person in the office that day. And I wasn't going to be able to take a break, drive 30 to 40 minutes and come back and, interview, come back. And because I was the only person in the office. So let me interview Zoom. And I tell people like, I was actually dreading the interview because, if you've been doing so many interviews, it's like, ask you what your interests are, why you want the job. And it's just like, okay, we finna go through this, oh my God, I'm gonna put on my best face, give it my Girl Scout try. And the interview turned out to be totally different. And we were laughing and I felt laid back and I felt a good vibe. And when I got off, and I remember asking them, okay, so when is second rounds, third? Oh, we're not doing second rounds. Oh, we're not doing third rounds. We're gonna make the decision the following week. And if you hear from us, then it means you're the chosen one. So I said, okay. So I got off the Zoom with them and I was just like, wow, okay, that was different, but it was good. And I love the energy. I love the vibe. And I'm like, oh, I think I can fit into that school, that department. I think I can really come in there and do my thing. So here's a slight dilemma. At the same time, while I was looking to see what's on the outside, my current job presented itself for an opportunity to be promoted. Of course, not knowing what's going on over here, I agreed because that was a few weeks prior to even me interviewing, just at that school. So I did agree. And they was like, well, we're going to work out compensation. And duties. Do you want it? I'm like, sure. You're not going to turn down like the opportunity to be promoted and get more money. So I was like, sure, fine. But the issue was that conversation was had in early May. Now it's like hidden June-ish. Now we're in June. Kind of did not know the terms and conditions of this agreement. So I said, now what if this place I interviewed, come back with a job offer? I don't know what's going on over here. I said, man, I might be in a slight dilemma. So I said, okay, God, my prayer to God was, Not, I was like, God, I want to make the right decision. Give me clarity because I have a promotion here on the table at my current job, right? Here's the possibility of a whole new job opportunity being presented. God, give me clarity. That was my prayer. Um, I wanted to make the right decision. I didn't want to regret staying. I didn't want to regret going. So that's why my prayer was like, God, give me clarity on the decision I needed to make. So I got a call from one of my references, and they said, "Oh, I got a call on a reference check for you." And I said, "Oh crap! Oh wow!" So she said, "They gonna be probably calling you to make you an offer." And I said, "Oh crap! This is moving fast." So just talking to friends, talked to one of my colleagues who also had left, who, because I was, you've been on your job for 16 years. Like when I took my job prior, it was like, this is a salary, no negotiations, bam. But now I'm in a situation like, okay, I'm older, I'm wise. And then when you're young, you're fresh out of school, you sometimes you take the first thing, smoking, not thinking like getting the real advice or no whim or okay, you should try to negotiate doing. So now I was at the point like I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm mature. And then I remember talking to a colleague and she was like, negotiate. Doesn't hurt. See what they offer you. See if you can bump the number up and see where they can meet you. She said, all they can say is no. So I kind of had got a notion of what the salary was going to be. So talking to her, she kind of helped me to, you know, see what the wiggle room would be. And she said, all they can say is no. But, it's going to be more money regardless. Just look at it like that. It's more money regardless than what you were currently making. So for me, it was going to be a increase regardless, a significant increase regardless. So, the lady called me the very next one. I'm so glad I had that conversation with that person the night before because she called me that next morning. She was so nice, so pleasant. She said, I hate I missed the interview, but everybody was talking about you and we want you. And she presented a salary to me. I, said, are you open for negotiations? She said I had a few wiggle rooms. So we, talked numbers, kind of met in the middle. And she said, well, let me confirm if I can do this and get back to you. Got back to me. But I told her I would come, I will come. So she came back less than 30 minutes. It was maybe 1,000 less than what we talked about, but still in the realm of I was able to negotiate. So we was able to do that. She said, well, I don't want to interrupt your holiday plans because I said, well, I want to be respectful. I want to give 2 weeks. I want to give 2 weeks, but then when we looked at the calendar, it started to run up against the holiday. She said, let's just have you start after the holiday. I don't want to mess up any plans if you was traveling or having time with family. So I started this past week. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have a new job. But my gist was what I learned from this is that I never stop praying. I never stop believing. Although I had several no's, closed doors, rejections, phase outs, I never stop praying and believing. And that's my message to you all. Keep praying, keep believing, keep manifesting. And say, God, I am open to new things. I am open to new opportunities. As I always tell people, my prayer is, may I be open to the blessings and the opportunities you will have for me. When you say that, you put no limitations on yourself. When you say I'm open to all the blessings, that's not telling me I'm praying for this one job or I'm praying for this one avenue, I'm praying for this one thing. It's opening you up to the realm of possibilities and opportunities. So that has been my prayer. I learned the prayer without ceasing. I have learned the prayer when stuff ain't even looking like. Because trust me, there's been many days I went looking around for jobs and didn't see nothing. And then I'm like, well, why everybody else around me? People talking about, well, you might have to move out the state and you might have to do this. But I'm like, everybody else around me ain't moving out the damn state. They getting jobs and so I'm like, so why I got to be? But surprisingly, my job is out of my home state. It's located on the border, so I'm able to commute and cross the state line every day. So it's like a 35 to 40 minute drive. But yeah, my the address of my new job is in the state over, which is Indiana, and I'm in Illinois. So that was surprising. My friend's like, I think I've been telling you, can you just quickly cross the state line, and there might be job opportunities there. So yeah, so it's God moves when He's ready to. That's what I have learned. He moves when He's ready, and you just got to be ready. Because, like I said, I did not enter the month of June thinking that I would be closing the chapter of my career at my past job. I had no. I always said I was open to what the month would bring, but I just didn't have it like, oh, I'm gonna be gone by the. I was gonna be gone by June 1st. I did not know that 28 days later I'll be walking away from a job I had for 16 years. But when I think back now, when I retrospect and think back, I remember watching a sermon from Pastor Hannah. It's back in April, and he said, watch the months of June, July, and August. Things are gonna shift and things are gonna take off. Some things are gonna happen for you. There's gonna be a shift. I remember that. And I think back to that because June was a significant, got my job. I also remember listening to Pastor Wells from the Burning Bowl. And he was saying a shift was going to happen and you might have to go through some growing pains. Or, it's going to be a journey. And these past few months prior to me getting this job was really challenging. Really, had me to really stretch me and test my patience and try to make sense of what was going on. But now that I look back at those notes, and now that I think about it in retrospect, like, whoa, this is like manifesting before my eyes. It's like what was said back in April is jumping off in June. What was said back in January did manifest itself. So my thing is keep the faith, you all. Like I said, there's been many days I prayed. I'm like, God, are you even hearing me? God, do you care? God, I'm over here in agony. Okay, God, what is you doing? Because I don't know what you're doing, So there's been many days that I was like, okay, I don't even know what God doing. Does he even hear me? But yes, God hears you. And yes, God will answer your prayers. And what was so funny that I think about it now, that job that I didn't get in 2019 that I cried and boo-hoo for, and I said that salary was great, that's the same exact salary that I have with this current new job of mine. So I'm like, oh my God, when you go back and you think about it in retrospect, God was just saying, I was working something else out for you. I was, you didn't get that because I had something else in mind. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, God, I see you. I see you. So, y'all got to keep the faith. You got to speak it. You got to present it. I was in church today, and The pastor was saying, be specific. If you want something, don't just say I want it. Just be specific and this is what I want, God, and I'm trusting you for it. So yeah, it's just I'm at my phase that I am just in my 1 week down. Everything is nice. It's nice. I think it's gonna be a cool place to work with some cool people. So I'm grateful. Just working out my adjustments. I gotta break a 16-year habit. So it's like how I commute to work and go to sleep and carry myself. All that is an adjustment. So I'm excited. But God is real, y'all. I mean, like I said, I know there's not people who believe, but God is real and He's moving and He's hearing. And this is the season, guys. This is the season for new opportunities. This is the season for newness. So I want you to be encouraged. Hang in there. Be specific. Keep praying. Keep hoping. Keep working. And that's another thing. I worked up until my last day faithfully. It was busy and, the way we set up, you gonna work to the end. The way we were set up, you was working to the end. But nevertheless, like, do your due diligence. God got something in store for you. I didn't always, I had my doubts. I didn't always, believe. But God got something for you. You just got to hang in there and stay the distance. So I said, okay, God, you bless me with this new job. Who else? What? God, you got the husband on deck. You got a new house. You got more travel. What you got on deck for me, Lord? What you got? What you got? So I'm so hopeful, guys. It's so overwhelming. Like I said, it's a good time. I got like just crazy faith and I'm nervous and I got anxiety, but it's just a big ball of goodness, but it's just, yes, I'm like, wow, God, you heard me. You answered my prayers. So I just want you to be encouraged by that. So this is my testimony. I feel like I might have been all over the place. I'm past 30 minutes. She's talking too darn much. But I just want you to stay encouraged. So be encouraged, keep the faith, keep working hard, keep believing, keep manifesting, keep being specific. God will hear your prayers. And when He's ready for you to move, He will move you. So that is it. That is all. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos. Peace out.